Hey, good looking. How you doing?
Hey, Nick, thanks.
Good.
How you been?
All right, good.
How are you there, Mr. Graham?
Perfect. How are you? Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, you too.
It's a lovely camera.
Thank you.
Work well?
Very well.
Good.
See you later. Hi, Carol.
Like 10 o'clock in the morning on that Saturday rather than...
Okay. Season's greetings.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the party today.
Yes.
Yeah.
See you later.
Hi, Steve.
How are you?
Going to be getting your watch.
Hi, Angie.
Oh, gee.
Should we wave?
Where's Ann? Hey, Frank. Give me the infamous word, Frank.
What we get in the envelope?
How you doing?
What is wrong with this cockamamie thing?
That's it. Say something in here. Some cockamamie thing.
Morning, Steve.
Morning, J.A.
How are you?
Good, sir. How you been?
Good.
Happens to be a special day, J.A.
Yeah?
Not only did we get good money in, but it's also another occasion.
How much did
Can you figure it out what it is?
Huh?
Where did we get in? So far we got about $500,000, but yesterday we got good money yesterday.
408.
Okay, 4.8, but I think, let's see here, we ended up with 5.6 total.
Yesterday?
Yeah. 5.6 total. Let's see here. Now this one here, this is how we stand. Because yesterday we had some good balances. And that's your loans, which are the intercompanies. Okay.
This was...
This is what PEC owes us.
Oh.
$21.5 million. AIW owes us $27 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now this is what we've invested. This is including this morning. I've invested another $6 million. So we're up to $54 million.
Okie doke.
Okay, J.A.?
Right.
So we'll see you later upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
25 years.
25 years, J.A.
It's hard to believe.
It is. It is. I'll tell you the truth, but... No, go ahead, you were saying.
63.
63 years. Great.
June will be 64.
My dad is going to be here today, J.A.
Yeah.
He's one of my mentors. And he always remembers when you got your 50th watch. You know, when we had the party here in 1973. He'll never forget it. He said, I'll never forget J.A.'s face when he got his 50th watch. So it was good. So I didn't like him to be here. All right, J.A. So we'll talk later.
Okay.
Okay, sir? Let me take... Hey, Max.
Steven.
How you doing? I got your call, Max.
Got my message?
I sure did. How you been?
Congratulations.
Thanks, Max.
It's one other stone.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Max.
I was 32 years.
32.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Max. 32, I'm not sure. 25 years has been, but it's been a good time.
You know what you're worth now? A quarter.
That's right. Taking a minute. How you doing? I was looking for those. So Eileen, how you doing?
How are you, Steve? Congratulations today.
Thank you very much.
It's very nice.
Did San Juan hit us with a lot of money today, or?
No.
Not much.
Giving us a break.
All right.
I don't
And
know
we
what
need
happened.
it for the party. I mean, you know.
Oh, if we could have some party if that's the case, let me tell you.
Yeah. Right, San Juan. Okay, I need you to move over and transfer into NatWest $5.8 million. Okay, and then we'll be moving over $2.3 million into Chase to cover the some of the payroll, which is going to be due tomorrow. Okay, Kathy? Great. Now let me know what happened with the accounts payable, which is the figure that we had received on Sandline yesterday. It differs from today. Okay? Please get back to me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Hey there, how you doing? Looks like today is my 25th year celebration. And, one of the things that I mentioned before was that the 25 years was a pleasure for me. I always loved coming to work, and to me this was fun. Primarily that I love people that I worked with, and people that I also worked for. So therefore, like I said, you know, it's not 25 years of work. It's 25 years of accomplishment. And I've got to tell you, I enjoyed every single moment of it, and that's why it seems to me that time flew so rapidly. Okay, so then we'll see you later in the party room.
Actually, you know what? I want to make an agree with John. I think I'll move over. No offense, Mark.
Hi, everyone. Oh, we can show more enthusiasm than that. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 25-year award ceremony. This year is particularly special because not only do we have 3 recipients for our 25-year award, but it is also the 90th anniversary of our company. That makes it rather special. Let me tell you something about companies and what they think about and what they talk about. People being the prime thing. Our company has, as of today, 613 people actively employed with 25 more years of service. No, they're not. Let me further tell you that based on my best estimates and calculations, and we've involved 14 computers working diligently, over 2,000 people have celebrated 25 or more years with this company. That is an unprecedented amount, and that's a tribute to you, the people, and to the Levitin family and the company. So we thank you for that. This being a real special day for 3 people, I'm going to pass the microphone on without any further ado to Mr. Don Henlett. Don?
Hello. Hi. That wasn't as good as the other one. Each year, I guess it's become somewhat of a tradition, at least with me, that I go to the library and all these other sources and come up with a little something to try and frame today's events as to what was going on 25 years ago. And it seems like just yesterday that we were here talking about 1970. But today's inductees to the 25-year club all started in 1971, 25 years ago. Where were we then? What events were shaping the world, and what were our lives like back then? What music were we listening to? TV were we watching? Where did we shop? And what did things cost? Well, I thought you'd never ask. The average American taxpayer was paying the government $400 for defense, $125 for the Vietnam War, $40 for roads and highways, $30 for space, and $315 tax dollars for health services. It was in 1971 in politics that Idi Amin overthrew the government of Uganda, that South Vietnam troops with U.S. support invaded Laos. Lieutenant Calley was court-martialed for the massacre at My Lai. The Vietnam War was still raging, already the death toll was in excess of 45,000 Americans. Papa Doc died in Haiti and turned over the reins to Baby Doc. The New York Times began publication of the Ellsworth Pentagon Papers. For those of you young ones in the group, that was the year that the 26th Amendment was ratified, giving 18-year-olds the right to vote. It was only 25 years ago that the People's Republic of China was admitted to the United Nations. In the economy, 1971 was the year the federal government first banned cigarette advertising on radio and television. President Nixon imposed wage and price controls in an attempt to reduce inflation and stimulate the economy. It was in 1971 that Apollo 14 landed 2 Americans on the moon and that Mariner 9 became the first spacecraft to orbit Mars. It was in the same year that the Supreme Court ruled that busing of students in order to achieve racial integration was constitutional. 1971 saw the passing of some famous people. Included in the list were Nikita Khrushchev, David Sarnoff, Louis Armstrong, Sonny Liston, and Ogden Nash. 1971 marked the year that Look magazine went out of business. As you will all remember from Forrest Gump, 1971 was the year of ping-pong diplomacy, when an American table tennis team flew to Beijing to play exhibition matches and started diplomatic relations with China. Believe it or not, it was only in 1971 that Walt Disney World opened in Orlando, Florida. In sports, 71 was the year that Cousy Pettit and Abe Saperstein were elected to the Hall of Fame for basketball. Jim Brown and Vince Lombardi were selected to the Football Hall of Fame, and Satchel Paige finally got into baseball's Hall of Fame. It was in that same year that Joe Frazier knocked out Muhammad Ali to become heavyweight champion. Lou Alcindor was named NBA Most Valuable Player, and Dave Cowens was Rookie of the Year. Now he's coaching. Approval for the ABA and NBA merger took place, and the Canadians won the Stanley Cup. The Giants committed to leave Giant Stadium and go to the Meadowlands. Billie Jean King and Stan Smith won the Open. On TV, we all tuned in to watch All in the Family, Flip Wilson, David Frost, Mary Tyler Moore, Sanford and Sons, The Odd Couple, Carol Burnett, Dean Martin, and even Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. At night, we went to bed watching Dick Cavett, David Frost, and Johnny Carson, or Columbo, Ironside, and Mannix. I remember 2 great TV movies, Brian's Songs and The Snow Goose. In music, we listened to some classic sounds, but we listened to them on 8-track cassettes and turntables. Songs like Joy to the World, Go Away Little Girl, Maggie May, Take Me Home Country Road, Brown Sugar, American Pie, the theme from Shaft that won the Oscars, Me and Bobby McGee, and one of my favorites, the theme song from the Executive Committee, It's a Family Affair. Sorry, I had to put something in. There were no video cassettes or video stores, so we went to the movie and watched A Clockwork Orange, Fiddler on the Roof, The Last Picture Show, The French Connection won the Oscar, James Bond was featured in Diamonds Are Forever, Gene Hackman won Best Actor for The French Connection, and Jane Fonda for Clute. In theater, we saw Hair, Oh Calcutta, which I think is still running, Last of the Red Hot Lovers, Promises, Promises, Applause, Sleuth, and Enemy of the People. What was happening in the workplace when our class of 1971 started? Well, if you came on board as a key punch operator, you made probably $110 or $120 a week. An executive secretary was making $165, and switchboard operators, which still existed back then, made $150. If you were lucky enough to come on as an accountant, you might make $15,000 a year with a bonus. In the marketplace, a dress shirt could cost you $9 to $11, or a suit $79. There were no video cameras, so if you were lucky, you got one of the brand new Super 8 movie cameras with synchronized sound for $149. And music was listened to on AM, FM, stereo, hi-fi cassette players for about $300. Some of the ladies wore hot pants, and the men wore flared trousers, which you might get at A&S for $10. A sweater at Wallet's could cost you $20. If you were in the stock market in 1971, and this is a real amazing fact, they traded about 11.6 million shares a day, okay, which was 3 times the number of shares traded in 1960. If you had IBM, it was $365 a share. GE 93, AT&T 48, or Western Union for 44. If you wanted to buy a house, a Dutch Colonial in Little Neck would cost you $30,000. A two-bedroom, two-bath apartment in Long Beach with pool access, $233 a month. If you shop for stationery supplies, you might go to Goldsmith Brothers, not Staples or Office Depot, and they sold things like 2-channel deluxe intercoms, Paymaster check writers, some of you folks will remember those, Rolodex files, which they now have on computers, and you could flick your big pen. Braniff Airlines, Northeast Yellowbirds, Pan Am, Eastern were all flying. Delta would take you to Houston for $103 or $82 on night coach. American Airlines would take you New York to the West Coast for $179.95. The Franklin National Bank was offering passbook accounts, and Pitney Bowes was selling its first electronic cash register. At Corvettes, you could get a vacuum cleaner for $20, and they even had a full-page ad showing 20% off on all their typewriters. There were no PCs. If you were shopping for groceries, you might pay 57 cents for a half-gallon of milk or 59 cents for a pound of bacon. You could get 3 pounds of coffee, not at Starbucks, but at the A&P for $1.99, and 10 cans of soda under $1. If you were looking for a car, hold on to your seats. In 1971, you could buy a Ford Maverick, Pinto, Plymouth Fury, Dodge Duster, or Chevy Vega for about $2,000 to $2,200. A Ford wagon was $3,500, and the Cadillac of your dreams about $4,600. You could get tires for the car for 17 bucks a piece. And you could drive your new car to Yonkers Raceway or Roosevelt Raceway. They were both still open, and for that matter, so was Friendly Frost, where you could get a refrigerator for $228. Or go to S. Klein's on the square and get a Singer sewing machine for $99. For the men, for Father's Day, if you were lucky, your kid might have bought you one of those fancy hot combs for $11.88. It was in 1971 that the first class postage rose to 8 cents, and a subway fare was 30 cents. A theater ticket $5 to $12, which was also the cost of a fancy dinner at the restaurant. So that's where we were, and that's what we were doing in 1971 when Eddie, Steve, and Hank joined the company. Leviton was significantly different as well. We were still headquartered in Brooklyn, shipping from Maspeth to our customers. We had just opened the Pico Rivera facility and new manufacturing facilities in West Jefferson and an expanded SD facility. There was no Bensonville, Atlanta, or Sparks. Pacific Electricord was just about to join the Leviton family of companies. There was no El Paso, Levimex, Haramex, Levical, Camargo. No one even knew what Telcom or TBS was. Leviton today is a different company, one that has grown significantly over its 90-year history, and especially in the past 25 years. I found it most interesting in researching the last 25 years to note the number of familiar names and companies mentioned, like Eastern, Pan Am, Friendly Frost, Franklin National Bank, Corvettes, TSS, Alexander's, Klein's, Yonkers Raceway, Roosevelt Raceway, Look Magazine. They're no longer here today. But Leviton is not only here, but stronger than ever and still growing. Thank you.
Let me, for a moment, introduce some of the family members that have come to share this wonderful day. Can we ask our First Lady, Shirley Leviton, to stand up? Shirley? Could you stand up, please? Don's wife. And last, but certainly not least, the woman that lives with me and puts up with all my nonsense. Pat, stand up, please. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today. Well, I think we need to get on with the program. So why don't we begin by asking Jack Liebman and Hoxie Tanzi and Jim Tobin to come up, please. And Mr. Leviton and Mr. Amsterdam, can you come up, please, to show the guy that paid for this and hand out the watches officially? Ed Albano, can I ask you to come up here, Ed? I can't officially call Ed's marriage to Marilyn like a Leviton affair because I kind of think they were engaged, when Ed joined the company? All right. Do you remember Marilyn, or you're not admitting it? I'm not quite sure which. Okay. To show you the continuity in our company, we often talk about it. Marilyn worked in the original packaging engineering group that Ed now works for. To make it even better, okay, Ed came here because Marilyn's Aunt Helen, who was a secretary to me, who I called Susie, enticed Ed to come to work for Leviton in 1971. We thank Helen for enticing Ed, because he's been such a valuable member of our team. By the way, just so you don't think it really wasn't a Leviton marriage, Marilyn worked for Leviton until 1969, I guess, when we moved to Little Neck. So, are you prepared?
When you moved to Little Neck, that's when I left.
That's when you left, okay. So, without further ado, Ed, we congratulate you. Let me turn this over to Hockey Tanzi, please. Hockey?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So I'll give you a little bit of background on Ed. Ed graduated with an associate's degree in mechanical engineering from New York City Technical College. When Ed started in Brooklyn in methods engineering, he worked with Andy Gamba, and John Gallo. That group was the precursor to manufacturing engineering. But in those days, it was largely making sure that the bills of materials were assigned to the proper locations, such as Brooklyn, Hillsborough, and Southern Village. There were only 3 choices. And then walking the floor to see how things were really done. In that activity, Ed accomplished something that few had. He went straight into Crazy Gus, the chain maker's department. There's stories about that all the time. Crazy Gus, chain maker. It's like chainsaw murderers and stuff. Pretty late stuff. He had a saw, but the chain just carried it on the wall with a nail. When Gus started to give him the normal hee-haw, Ed told him how much he admired the machinery, which was a smart move. From what I gathered, I didn't know the guy, but good move. And he went on to explain how he worked for a German toolmaker and how he had this appreciation for beautiful machinery and so on. I guess after that, Gus decided that Ed was okay, gave him a full tour of the facility, right? And they were buddies, and he was one of the few outsiders who were allowed to come into the department. Is that true? This is true. Okay. Did a lot of research. Glad. After methods in 1972, it became a draftsman working for John Dazzo, Charlie Chase. Must have worked for Charlie Style sometime.
Everybody.
And George Johnson. This group was responsible for engineering drawings of all the new and modified devices. In 1979, Ed was made the manager of documentation, working for Bill Bowie, and this department that began the structuring of all our bill of materials into, what became the Leviton standard. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Jack, who's going to finish up.
Thank you. In 1982, Ed saw the light in joint operations. He came to us in a position we called manager of transition. We weren't sure what that meant. But what we did know is that one of Mr. Cram's pet peeves at the time was that we spent more time throwing material away after we changed products around than we spent making new product. So the job we assigned to Ed was to bring some semblance to this chaos of how do we phase out material, how do we phase in new products. And for the first time, we really did develop a great system so that we could predict in advance if we decided to phase something out, what we were going to be stuck with, or when we should phase it out to make it economical. Ed built a system at that time which was very labor intensive, and it's now been changed over the years based on the work Ed did. So now it's just a simple couple keystrokes on the computer, and within minutes we know exactly what our exposure is. And those of you in the room who know how much time we spend changing products at Leviton, you know how important this function is. So we owe it a big vote of thanks there. The other big bond that Ed and I have is we both spend most of our day in the car commuting to get here, then, right? From different directions, but we do commute. Ed worked in this transition manufacturing function, really setting up all the procedures that we use for phasing in, phasing out products until 1994. That's when we decided that Ed's talents were needed in another area, our packaging services group. Packaging was becoming a serious bottleneck at Levitt, and we all knew we had to do something about it. We formed a new packaging services group with Jim Tobin. We got Ed into that group, and Ed has made a number of accomplishments there that Jim's going to tell you about.
My first dealings with Eddie came when I was the MRP manager in the Brooklyn plant. This was several years ago. We were working on implementing a new flat-face Specmaster receptacle to replace the old version, which was produced in Brooklyn. This was an important, highly visible project that we were assured would increase our market share on this important product line. Eddie was assigned to the project team, providing us with support to minimize our inventory exposure and to reduce the costs associated with this change. I hadn't worked with Eddie before and I wasn't too sure what to expect. Of course, those of you here who know Eddie could have told me at the time that he was a really affable guy who's eager to help and in a most supportive way edge you in the right direction. I soon found this out for myself and came to rely on Eddie's guidance in this project. This was a welcome relief. I was still the new kid on the block, and I looked forward to be able to bounce ideas off of Eddie and to get his help and guidance. Several years later, I moved over to Little Neck, first working on projects for retail marketing, and later on this evolved into the packaging services department. When the very capable packaging engineer in my group moved on to other duties, I was approached about having Eddie move over into my group as the replacement, and I was immediately for it. One of the most important duties of this job is to act as a communicator with his counterparts in each plant. This part of the position is partly giving direction, defining specifications, and making sure that the needs of the marketplace get translated into the product package. There are roughly about 12 different packaging coordinators who depend on the corporate packaging engineer in each position for advice and guidance, some to whom these people English was a second language. My phone used to ring off the hook with the usual questions from the plant personnel, especially in the transition period before and just after Eddie took the position. Several of these folks would call me, many at least once per day, to discuss what was on their minds, ask questions, seek help, offer opinions, etc., etc. In fact, aside from the time considerations involved, I came to enjoy this part of my job very much. I felt that I was getting involved in the give and take with the plant personnel who were in the trenches doing the job. However, in just a matter of a few weeks after Ed moved into this new position, these phone calls died down quickly and then stopped altogether. My phone became very quiet, and I would notice that nearly every time I came into Eddie's office to discuss something, he was on the phone with my former charges, giving advice, offering encouragement, and clarifying what needed to be done in order to meet the latest challenge before us. My silent phone gave testament to perhaps what's Ed's greatest strength, and this is his ability to communicate effectively and in a short period of time establish a trust and respect from the folks that he deals with. And the end result is that the job gets done. I'd also like to take, besides saluting Eddie, like to mention another veteran in my group who is probably here for the last time for this anniversary, and that's Jack Cacavelli, who celebrated 40 years with the company. And at the time, I'd also like to salute Eddie for the great job he's done for us. Thanks, Ed.